Nah.
Dougal, then?
Ken, for a woman, you do ask a fair amount of questions.
So I've been told.
So even though fans have been eagerly awaiting the final season of Outlander, there's a bit of a bittersweet twist. One pretty important and beloved character isn't coming back, and that character is Jenny Murray. But just because she won't be physically there in Season 8 doesn't mean her story has been totally dropped. It's just that the show has to make some tough calls as it heads toward the finish line. The thing is, Outlander Season 8 has a lot riding on it. Since it's the final season, the showrunners have to wrap up the major storylines in a way that feels satisfying, especially because the book series by Diana Gabaldon isn't even done yet. That means the show will have to come up with an ending of its own. It'll still borrow from the books, of course, but it's going to take its own path too. So naturally, not everything can make it in. A bunch of side plots and characters won't be part of the final mix, no matter how much fans love them. That includes Jenny Murray. And honestly, that stings a little because she's been part of the story for a long time. Jenny, who is Jamie Fraser's sister, was always a grounded, strong, and no-nonsense presence. She had that fiercely protective energy when it came to her family, and over time, fans really grew attached to her. In Season 7, the character actually came back, though she was played by a new actress, Kristen Atherton, instead of Laura Donnelly. And while the recast was a bit of a surprise, it was still really nice to see Jenny again, especially in those emotional scenes with her nephew, young Ian. One particularly touching moment was when Jenny and young Ian met at Lallybrook Cemetery. It was quiet and heartfelt, and it reminded everyone of the deep family bonds that are such a big part of Outlander. Based on the books, Jenny should have continued her journey by moving to Fraser's Ridge with Jamie, Claire, and young Ian, but the show took a different route. Instead of joining them, Jenny said she was staying behind at Lallybrook, at least for now. She left the door open a bit, saying she might follow later, but now it's official, she won't be coming back in Season 8. And that's a bummer. The showrunners explained that they had to narrow the focus as much as possible for this final stretch. Anything that didn't directly connect to Jamie and Claire's ending had to be trimmed out. It makes sense when you think about how many loose ends there are to tie up, but it's still a little sad to say goodbye to Jenny for good. She and young Ian had some of the most emotional scenes last season, so it would have been lovely to see that continue. But even though Jenny won't physically be around in Season 8, her story isn't being ignored. In fact, the show can still pay off her arc through young Ian's journey. Because when you look at the books, especially written in My Own Heart's Blood and Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, Jenny's role is actually pretty centered around her son. Her main concern, like any loving parent, is making sure her child finds happiness and peace. In the series, young Ian's life has followed a path that lines up pretty closely with his book counterpart. By the end of Season 7, he and Rachel Hunter are married, and they're expecting a child. That's a big turning point for him. And in the books, things get even more intense. Ian finds out that his ex-wife Emily and their biological son might be in danger. That news sets him off on a new journey to find them, and he brings Rachel, their baby, and Jenny along for the ride. So even though the TV version won't have Jenny on that journey, the emotional beats can still hit the same notes. Season 8 could follow Ian as he sets out to protect his family, both the one he has now and the one he left behind. And even though Jenny won't be with him physically, her presence can still be felt through what she meant to him and how much she shaped him. After all, part of what makes young Ian such a heartfelt, complex character is how deeply he cares about the people he loves. A lot of that comes from how he was raised, especially by Jenny. Think back to that moment in Season 7, when Jenny showed Ian the grave she made for his baby daughter Isabel. It was just a small thing, a symbolic gesture, but it meant everything. Jenny never met the baby, who died far away in America, but she still gave her a resting place at Lallybrook. That moment said so much about who Jenny is and how much she cares. She wanted Ian to know that no matter how far apart they were or how much they'd been through, family would always have a home. So when you fast forward to what might happen in Season 8, it's easy to see how this can all come full circle. Ian's story could end with him reuniting with the son he had with Emily, swiftest of lizards, and building a new family with Rachel and their child. And if that happens, it's not just a satisfying ending for Ian, it's also a quiet, meaningful way to bring Jenny's story to a close too. Seeing her son find peace and happiness would be the perfect payoff for all her love and sacrifice, even if we don't get to see her on screen again. It's also worth pointing out that Season 8 has a limited number of episodes, just 10, which means there's only so much room for all these stories. So, prioritizing Jamie, Claire, Roger, Brianna, young Ian, Lord John, and William Ransom makes sense. Those characters have been at the heart of the story from the start, and they're the ones whose arcs need full closure. That's a lot to juggle as it is, so trimming away extra threads, even ones we love, is part of what makes this finale possible. Still, there's something comforting about knowing the heart of Jenny's story doesn't go to waste. Her legacy lives on in young Ian and in the decisions he makes. That's how stories work sometimes. Characters influence events even when they're not around. And in Jenny's case, her absence might even make her impact feel more powerful. Now, of course, fans will have mixed feelings about all this. It's always tough when a character we've followed for years doesn't get a proper farewell. But Outlander has never really been about perfect endings. It's always been about love, loss, time, and the ways people stay connected across years and miles. So maybe Jenny not being there physically is its own kind of poetic closure. She's rooted in the land, in Lallybroch, in the memories and values she passed down. And really, if Season 8 gives us the emotional payoff we're hoping for, with young Ian building a life full of love, stability, and meaning, then Jenny's influence will still be right there. Not through more dialogue or another reunion scene, but through the legacy of the son she raised. That kind of storytelling can be just as moving, if not more so. So while we might not get to see Jenny again, we can still feel her presence in every step Ian takes toward his future, and that's something worth holding on to. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below, so let me know what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, especially if you want more updates on Season 8 and the upcoming prequel series. Plus, I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so drop a comment and let's discuss. Now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know you want to.